If you can implement this one thing into your life, it's going to dramatically increase the chances of you being successful. It takes just 5 minutes to implement. And if you can't sit through this 10-minute video of me walking through one small change that you need to make in your life in order to become successful, then starting a business isn't for you. You haven't got the focus. So what I would suggest you do is you full screen this bad boy and let's jump straight in. So this one thing is something that every single wealthy person that I know, they all have this in common. And every struggling business owner doesn't have this in place in their life. And what I'm talking about here is something that I call the emotion paradox. So if we have success here, and this is a high level of success, and here we have emotion, and this is a high level of success, a high level of emotion. What we typically see is that when somebody is highly emotional with their business, with the results that they do or do not generate, generally speaking, we see a low level of success. So we see people down here, high level of emotion, low level of success. And what we need to do is we need to reduce our levels of emotion, and that will in turn increase our level of success. And the sweet spot is being up here, because what we see is that when people have a very low level of emotion, they are able to think very clearly. They are able to make the right decisions and kind of think like a computer. They're able to just make the right decisions, not based on how they're feeling, not based on what's happened earlier in the day, but they're just able to make decisions based on kind of raw data without any emotion. Now, here's where the paradox comes in. Here's where the kind of annoying truth lies, is that in order to start to become successful, you need a high level of emotion. Otherwise, you're not going to have the drive, the determination, the motivation to actually start something. So you actually need to go through this curve here. You can't start down here and then just hope to increase, because you're never going to start if you have a low level of emotion, you have a low level of drive and determination. You need to start here and then kind of slowly start to taper and reduce your emotions as you go, which is very difficult to do. And also, even the most successful people, they come back to this high level of emotion every now and again when they need to fix something in their business. So they're more than happy to get fired up, get annoyed, get angry because something isn't working in their business. And then they use that fuel and they kind of bottle it, and then they can quickly turn off that emotional state and go straight back to logic. So what we need to do, as I say, is start at a high level of emotion to get the wheels in motion, get things working, and then we need to be able to turn that off and start to think like a computer. One of my friends is extremely successful. He phrased it as like weaponized autism, when you can just really remove every single emotion and just think in the most logical way without taking into consideration your feelings, anything like that. Making a success of a business is so much easier. So how do we do that? How do we reduce levels of emotion? How do we step away from this high state of feelings, desires, frustrations, so that we can increase our chances of success? Well, there's a bunch of different things that we can do, but I'm going to share with you my favorite. And it really is a very simple thing. Journaling. Write in a journal every single day. If you write in a journal every day, what you do is you take this, like, if we say that this is your brain here, here's what most people's brains look like. they're all scattered, they're filled with emotions, they're filled with thoughts, and they're like neurons are firing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and their thoughts are genuinely kind of bouncing. They're bouncing around. And when you journal, what you do is you take all of this mess and you actually start to put it into words that are understandable. And you start to take all of these lines and you start to put them in a journal. And what you'll do is, if we look at your brain post journal, you'll kind of see it look a little bit more like that. And you've basically just taken all of the emotion out of your brain and you've put it on a piece of paper. And now what this allows you to do is it allows you to think logically. You've still got all your emotions, but they're just in your journal. But when you clear your mind, it allows you to kind of act in a more rational and logical way. And one of the favorite things about journaling for me is being able to look back. If you look back, say, even 7 days, because like, if we think about this, your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, they happen so quickly that your emotions 7 days ago, they could feel like a lifetime ago, because you've had so many different emotions, feelings, and thoughts in between then and now. So even looking back 7 days into your journal and seeing what your concerns were, what your emotions were, what your feelings were, it allows you to rationalize what your feelings are today. Because let's say, for example, you were really anxious, you were really scared, you were really concerned about this thing in your life, in your business, and then you look back and you realize you were anxious about this thing, and then it never actually happened, never materialized. You realized you were anxious, concerned, worried for no real reason. What that allows you to do is conceptualize it and understand that next time you have these feelings, most likely they're for nothing, because you're going to basically not, you're going to go through the same process that you went through before. So this is how you can basically start. You need to start here in order to succeed, but then you can drive yourself back. And if you ever feel yourself slipping back down this kind of emotion curve in the wrong direction, and that you're starting to become more emotional, then you need to focus more here. There's also a bunch of other things that you can do. You can meditate, you can work with a coach, because what a coach will allow you to do, whether this is a business coach, a life coach, whatever it is, whatever goals you're trying to achieve, for 99% of people watching this video, it's going to be a business, is it allows you to take the thinking out of the equation. One of the most successful kind of periods in my business was when I worked with a coach who allowed me to stop thinking. And when I stopped thinking, I basically stopped being emotional. He allowed me to basically just go away and execute. I didn't have to think, because I was just taking instructions. I was just taking instructions on what to do in my business. And it really allowed me to shoot up this curve and become successful, because I could remove all emotions out of the equation. I let him do the thinking, him be emotional, and he wasn't emotional because it's not his business. He's not like in the weeds. So it's very easy for coaches to make, decisions that are based off logic as opposed to emotion, because it's not their business. But you want to turn your scattered brain that is full of emotions into something that is clear and logical. And this is the emotion paradox. You need emotion to succeed, because you can't start without it, but you very quickly need to turn it off. There we go. That is how you can really reduce that time of success, by removing emotion from the equation. If you want to find out how we can help, click the first link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.